Hey guys, it's Kate, and I hope you're having a great day. I was not here for a little while, but ended up turning it around. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about times when we are creating something that we are just not feeling. Maybe another day it would have gone differently, but this day it was not my cup of tea. And I just felt like I couldn't make any progress and couldn't make it look the way I wanted or get the effects I wanted. And I am working on a piece of mixed media paper, and I had covered it with random pieces of collage before I got started. So I wanted to use that as kind of a starting off point for my intuitive painting. And I then added some ink, and I'm going in with the brayer, doing all kinds of marks. And usually when I do that, something ends up kind of jumping out at me, and I decide to kind of go in that direction. But today it was just not really happening. And so I had my brayer out, I'm doing marks. I pulled out this China marker, and then I pulled out a brush tip fine liner permanent black marker, and I'm just going and going and going, and I feel like it's just sort of a big mess. And I am sure pretty much everybody watching has been in that situation before. But there's really something to be said for pushing through. I actually waited like a whole day and a half or 2 days. I ended up uh, painting on this, and you probably noticed in the thumbnail that I really could not stand what I was making and ended up having to sleep on it. And it turned out that when I finished, it was one of my favorite things I've made lately. And I just really want to talk today about the importance of not giving up. And if you feel like you're getting frustrated with something that you're doing, it's really a good time to take a step back, reevaluate, look at it with fresh eyes another day, and things will always, at least most of the time, get better. Can't say always. There's always going to be, you know, something that goes wrong, but um I don't know. I just sometimes it's easy to get caught up in what you're doing and not really appreciate the moment itself. And, not just with art, but with lots of things in life. And it ends up being where it wasn't as bad as it felt like before, or something opened up to you that wasn't open before, or you looked at things differently. And that is kind of what happened here in simpler ways with a painting, but it's a good words to live by also. So here is where I'm starting to kind of think, oh, I don't really know what's going on here. I even tried to do this second layer of marks, and then I grabbed that pink acrylic ink, and I'm just looking for something, and it just wasn't happening. So I just keep going like it's just a futile effort. And this is when I finally gave up and just decided to take out my paint and say, I hate this. And I did. Believe me. And then this is where I had kind of slept on it a bit and then decided to start over. And I started over with the message, I hate this, and decided to turn it into something else completely and paint over the background. And this is when it just started to come together a little bit for me. So I grabbed two completely different colors, and I decided to just cover my sheet with them and have kind of a dark background. And I brought out the brayer again, and that wonderful collage texture underneath just gave it so much visual interest, I thought. And so it wasn't like I was starting from scratch. I was really continuing on the project and using what had gone down before, for my painting. And I went in with my silicone tool and kind of scraped back some of those paint layers, and so it got some interesting marks. And then I broke out the spray and that nice bright pink color, and then started to really think about what I wanted to go there. And I think that pink line where I sprayed the water ended up being the beginning of the final painting. And you can see me there putting down some of my collage paper, mopping up some of the excess moisture. And I really like doing that sometimes. Sometimes if I have it on hand, I'll do that. And it helps the paper not get so much water on it, but also get some really interesting collage paper that way. So I had some paper lying around, so I went ahead and used it. Now I missed this part here with the filming, but all I did was take some of that turquoise paint and just make some more swirly lines kind of going along the same path of the pink. And so it ended up being a little bit of a background color, and then I went over with some burnt sienna. Now here I'm using that collage paper idea where I mopped up some excess ink, and I'm actually using it kind of as a stamp. So I put some black dots on there with my stylus, and I'm just mashing it on the page. And then look, it's so interesting. I see the brightness and the darkness, and then I'm putting another layer of ink on, and you can see it kind of sinking into those marks. And I'm thinking that's a really interesting line going through the paper. And so I'm even now still not too sure what I want to do, but I really like where it's going now because I didn't give up on it and I just kept painting even after taking a break. And so I'm putting down some more marks because I like how that turquoise looks on the top. And I'm adding in just some different lines with my flat brush. But I'm just going along that same swirly line that started with that first pink. And I'm doing some more kind of stamping, mopping up extra paint, and then I'm going in with my stylus to scrape in and add some more texture. That was kind of what I fell in love with this painting. And I just love the little marks and scrapes where you can see through to the back. And then after everything dried, I broke out a Posca pen. And I started with this blue because it was kind of a similar color to the turquoise. And I decided to turn that big squiggly line into a flower. And I started there, and then I wanted to add that blue someplace else. And right here is where I thought, this looks a lot like neon lights. When you see them at night and you kind of see them super bright against whatever they're on or the background, and that's what that pink Posca pen reminded me of. And so I decided to just go over and over the lines and make it a very doodly flower over the top of that background. And I loved the brightness of it and the curve, all from the pink. And that was all I needed to run with it. And if I had given up, I would have never made that mark, and I would have never had something that made me so happy when I finished it. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. Maybe you will take out an old artwork that you were trying to work on and give it another go. And until next time, keep creating.